Hi everyone, it's Wellbeing Wednesday, and this week we're going to look at the effect of uncertainty on the brain and how that causes anxiety and what we should do about it. So, when a brain comes across a situation where it doesn't know what's going to happen, because it likes to predict what's going to happen, and what it uses to make predictions is its previous experiences. So, when it comes along across a new situation, when it's going to do a new school or a new college, we experience uncertainty. Our brain experiences uncertainty. And, with the pandemic, it experiences a lot of uncertainty. And we feel that uncertainty in our brains as anxiety. And that's really important to understand, that anxiety is a normal response of the brain to change and uncertainty. That's really important for us to understand that. And any new situation can generate feelings of worry, anxiety in a brain, where that emotional brain gets information first and says, oh, we haven't done this before. What do you want to do about this? And it sends a message up to the prefrontal cortex, that area behind our forehead that goes in about the length of the thumb. And there's this conversation that develops between those two bits of the brain. So when we experience uncertainty or anxiety, our gut response, our instinctual response, is sometimes to push the experience away, to try and ignore it, to not engage with it, to kind of put it out of our minds, distract ourselves, I don't know, play Fortnite for hours, whatever it is that we do to distract ourselves, rather than be open to it. Because actually being open to it, while it is sometimes a bit worrying and can be a bit sort of distressing, being open and not pushing those thoughts away, acknowledging that we can have some negative cognitive distortions, understanding that our brain is negatively biased, means that we can approach that issue with both brain networks, our emotional brain processing network and our cognitive processing network. So we should apply CAKE when we're feeling anxious and worried. Now that is this acronym. That CAKE looks lovely, and that CAKE itself with a cup of tea might help, but CAKE means common humanity. Instead of this isn't fair, why am I feeling it? What has this happened? Oh no, this is all those kind of thoughts, a lot of which are cognitive distortions. Common humanity is everyone feels anxious from time to time, particularly when they're doing new things. Being aware and accepting that that is the case in every human brain, kindly and curiously trying to explore what it was. Was it that email? Was it that conversation I had with my friend the other day? Was it a thought that just popped into my head about, I don't know the answer to that question? Was it some distressing news that you saw on the TV? Whatever it is, kindly and curiously trying to pinpoint what it was, while remaining empathetic and self-compassionate towards ourselves. Now, all of those things, C, A, K, and E, are difficult things. They are going to involve us responding rather than reacting, us growing the neural architecture to enable us to respond rather than react. And it's just a set of mental habits. So CAKE is a good way of thinking about how we can respond rather than react to feelings of anxiety, and slowly but surely identify what those issues are. Now, what CAKE does literally is it lifts us into the cognitive part of our brain and gets both areas of the brain working together in a balanced way to respond. So that's why it's so important. And it gets a conversation going between the prefrontal cortex and the amygdala, the emotional brain, which means that slowly but surely, and this happens throughout our lives, the prefrontal cortex can calm the amygdala down and say, yeah, but we can resolve that problem, and this is the solution. And when we're doing new things, these are things by definition that we haven't done before. So we might need to seek advice, and that's fine. It's absolutely fine. There's circuits in our brain that doesn't want to seek advice because it thinks, well, we're going to get judged if we seek advice. But when we're doing something new, it's really important that we seek advice, because we haven't done it before and other people will have done, and their prefrontal cortexes have probably got the answers. So we need to talk about how we're feeling. That's why the empathy, the E, is so important, that we reach out. So one of the habits we should start to develop is applying CAKE curiously and kindly to our particular experiences of anxiety. And once we've done a new thing, think back to all the things you've done. Once you've done those new things, you're much more able to kind of continue. And in fact, often the new thing we do is actually really beneficial and we get a lot out of it. But our brain is very risk averse, remember, very negatively biased. And those cognitive distortions that we talked about, just be aware of them. Be aware that we're going to have cognitive distortions. And that's a particular issue for all of our brains. So try and remember this week, the habit we want you to try and build is apply cake, common humanity, awareness, acceptance, kind curiosity, and empathy to those experiences of wobbliness. And remember that huge background change that's around us at the moment, as well as the kind of complexities of life, will cause some parts of our brain to feel kind of wobbly and anxious. Take care, everyone. See you all soon.